So, starting with meditation to get our mind right, focus it where we need to focus it. Find a comfortable position, sitting, lying down, whatever you like, it doesn't matter, as long as you can comfortably relax in it. Start taking deep breaths into the belly, not the chest. Shoulders back and down. Relaxing all of the muscles in the face, the neck, shoulders, arms, hands, torso, legs. You're scanning the body from top to bottom and releasing any tension you find, sinking the energy and the weight down into the lower half of the body. Our minds have enough energy without us giving them any extra. So it's really beneficial from a relaxation point, from a peace, contentment point, to take all the excess energy out of the head, out of the top of the body where we tend to keep it, because this is where most of our senses lie. So it makes sense that we would naturally gravitate towards energy in this area. You can take that energy and sink it down into the hips, the legs. Let it ground you into the earth, stable and solid. Which, with each inhale, breathing in the emotions of love, peace, gratitude, happiness, contentment. And just find a way to be content in where you are. Choose to be content with where you are. Is it where we want to be in the long run? Probably not. But right now it's temporary. And we can find peace in just existing for a few moments. With each exhale, we're relaxing a little bit more, releasing a little bit more, grounding a little bit more. Find the intention that you have for this interaction we're having today. Is there something you hope to learn? Something you hope to take away? Are you just here with an open mind to absorb anything that may help? What emotion do you choose for today? Take it and hold it in your heart. Find the feeling of it. And let it swell and radiate through your whole body. Pushing it with your awareness outside of your body. Like a little bubble. Deep breath. Know that everything is good and safe in this moment, right now. Okay, so I feel better about life. I hope you do as well. We are going to talk today about collaborations. If you want to build an online presence, collaborations are the number one thing you should be focusing on once you have what it is you're doing clear. You have to have a vision, you have to know exactly what it is you're doing, or else you're just going to be wasting a lot of time for both you and other people, more or less. Content is still content, but and that's always great. We always want to first and foremost provide good, positive, helpful content. And as long as you're doing that, there is really no wrong or waste of time, in my opinion. But from a business standpoint, from a growth standpoint, and like a money making standpoint, you really want to have a clear vision of what it is you're trying to accomplish. That should be the first and most important thing that you focus on. But after that, it's great to start collaborating immediately before you have an audience, before you have anything, before you have a website, a brand, like it doesn't matter. Start collaborating, start talking to people, start sharing your knowledge, sharing your mission, sharing your goals, sharing what you have that benefits other people in the world. Collaborations. So, what is a collaboration? First of all, a collaboration is where you get together with one or more people who also have a mission, and y'all come together in a joint venture to provide a service, content, something valuable and positive to both your audience and theirs. So it's working together to create something. You can collaborate on blog posts. So you can do guest posts. They can write a guest post on your website. You can write a guest post on their website. You can collaborate with podcast episodes. This is my favorite because it's the least time consuming, in my opinion. And time is money. So collaborate on a podcast episode, a YouTube episode, an Instagram takeover. So you can do an Instagram takeover where they log into your account for a day and post on your story, and perhaps a Instagram post, an image post. And y'all can go back and forth with that. Summits are collaborations between a bunch of people. You can collaborate with somebody and create a group of some sort, like Facebook or Slack or whatever, to bring a course or a challenge or something of the like, a 5-day challenge to XYZ together. Find something that's mutually beneficial. That opportunities are endless. I actually have a whole collaboration sheet that I have done. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. And I will tell you all of the things. Collaboration options. Here we go. I used to send this to people. I'm like, here you go. What do you want to collaborate in? So you can do social features. That's kind of like the Instagram takeover thing. Guest posts, interviews. So those come in the form of text, audio, video. You can write out some questions in a Google Doc, send them over to them. They answer them, and then you post it as a blog post. Very simple. These things don't have to be complicated. You can do giveaways, roundups. So a roundup is where you would take 5 to 10 more, less, whatever, experts, and you can get their best 3 tips on the specific thing. So you have a specific topic and you have 3 experts that came on and they each gave you their best 3 tips on this specific thing. So that's what a roundup is, and that comes in many shapes and forms as well. Reviews, you can review each other's products, podcasts, those types of things. Co-host a challenge, hold a contest. Pinterest group board is a form of collaboration. Webinars, free or paid. Affiliate for one another, referrals and recommendations. We'll get to that in a second. So I have a whole page where I have options, if we're, and it's in a, I wish I could screen share. Can I screen share? Let me click some buttons for a second. I know I can screen share on Zoom. I don't want to spend too much time on this. It doesn't look like it. Okay, we'll look into that for later purposes. But I have this Google spreadsheet where I have all of those things I just read to you listed out, and then I have the topics that I can cover, and then oh, here's some more collaboration options, because the first ones I listed out just now were the new to working together. So if you're new to working with this particular person, because let me tell you what, not all collaborations are going to be great, okay? Especially the more you do, you're going to find some terrible ones, you're going to participate in some terrible ones, you're going to get into collaborations with people and absolutely regret it every step of the way. But you live, you learn, and you do better next time. And that comes into like pre-qualifying your collaborations, which takes time, okay? And I do not do that. I don't. And sometimes I pay the price for it, but I'm willing to pay the price for it and just, spend the hour or two talking to the person that we don't click with, or uh, doing a podcast episode and then not even using it for this or that. Like, it happens. But I need an assistant, okay? I need a VA. If you have one, if you have a recommendation for one, please send them my way, because I am looking for one and definitely need that help. But anyway, um, so it's good to pre-qualify your collaborations for sure. Are they going to show up on time? Are they going to do what they said they were going to do? Or, like, when you had a group project in school, and how there was always that one kid that didn't do anything, and there was always that one kid who pretty much picked up everybody's slack and did everything. And, you want it to be a even group effort to benefit the whole. You don't So pre-qualifying is super important, even though I don't always do that. And if I bring you a bad collaboration, sorry. Um, Always use uh, discernment in what you take as right and true information and stuff. Anyway, um, the ones I just listed out are really good, and I will put these in the blog post on Thursday so that you can see it, and so you don't actually have to take notes in the video if you don't want to, because it'll all be on the blog post for you. But anyway, those are new to working together collaborations. Once we get to know each other and we know each other, we trust each other, we enjoy working together, we go well together, all of that, you can go into more extreme collaborations, such as co-hosting a Twitter chat, co-hosting a Facebook group, which I'm also looking for someone to, if you're interested, apply by emailing me. Office hours together. You can write books together, ebooks together, workbooks together, courses. You can do a course together. a workshop, or even coaching and consulting. You can share your package together. Whereas, like, if you hired one coach, then you would just be dealing with that one coach. But if there are two coaches, for example, if, I do confidence for online content creators. So if I were to go in with another coach for who's the tech side of all of that, like ClickFunnels and lead magnets and all of that. Because I can do like foundational stuff, but like the techie stuff, I can't help you with that. I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to Google it and YouTube how to do it. That's what I do to get by. But you can go in two coaches can go in and create a program together to where if you enroll in this program, you're working with both coaches. So, um, and that can look like whatever you want. You can do uh, every other week is the other coach. So you're switching up. So one week's this coach, Coach A, and the next week's Coach B, and then Coach A, Coach B, one call a week. You can do two calls a week. You can do just a group thing. There's a lot of things open up there. Your imagination is really the only limit that you have to collaborations and coaching programs and all of that. But so those are some examples of collaborations, and like I said, you really want to pre-qualify if you can. It's not always possible. Um, so finding someone to collaborate with, pre-qualifying them, you ideally want to find somebody that complements your group audience message, all of that. So you really want your things to align. A lot of people will tell you that if you're a confidence coach, don't bring in another confidence coach. Don't collaborate with another confidence coach. I don't agree with this at all. The working theory behind that, the why, is that, you're going to lose your audience to that coach. And that's a mindset of lack. It's a mindset of competition, and there is no such thing. Um, you know, one coach can only work with X amount of clients for one. So if I already have 10 clients and I would never ever take more than that at a time, then, and you have three more people who want help right now, I mean, they have the option. They can either sit around and wait for an opening with me, or they can go look for someone else. If you provide them with a second option, then they're going to trust you because they see that you have their best interest in mind rather than your own best interest in mind, which is what that is. If you don't collaborate, if you refuse to uh, create content or go into to work with somebody who does the exact same thing that you do, that shows that you have your own best interest in mind, and now not your clients, not your audience, not your the people who are looking to you for this information. There's I'm not going to click with everybody. They're not going to click with everybody. So we'll just put our groups together. We'll do our presentation, our spiel, bring value the best we can. And if you like me, great. If you like them, great. As long as you're getting the help, that's what's important. You have to go into these things wanting to create change in other people. You want to help other people, bring value to other people. Okay. Um, you can't go in there with a singular mindset towards yourself and, oh, if I bring this person in, all of my audience is going to go follow them. Well, I mean, if you're if you're providing enough value and they like, know, and trust you, they're not going to leave you. But if you're not providing that value, or if that person looks like they're providing more value, then some of them might. Like it just, I mean, people come and people go, and you can't take it personal. It's just about, what's best for them and their journey and their goals and what they click with and, you know, people's time that they have available. And so, we'll do something. I'm going to write that down. We're going to do something on abundance mindset too. Do I really not have a pen over here? There's one. Okay. I don't have a piece of paper. But, so, yeah, find people who complement your area of stuff. But at the same time, I also believe that um, everyone should be well-rounded and open-minded and open-hearted. And just because these are your realms of expertise and what you talk about and stuff doesn't mean that you can't bring somebody else in who has completely different viewpoints. You're not going to taint your audience. You're not going to, I mean, I believe in working together no matter what. But anyway, you can pretty much always find a way to make two people with two different audiences, two different topics click in some form. Because I mean, honestly, when you get down to the bottom of it, we're all just trying to navigate life, and all these aspects of everything are aspects of life. If it's way out in a right field, just use discernment. Know your audience, know who you're talking to. Okay, so mutually beneficial is what you want to focus on. Mutually beneficial for you, mutually beneficial for your audience, for you and the person you're going into collaborations with. You want everyone involved to benefit as much as possible. Okay, how can you bring more value? 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 That is of the utmost importance. Be thinking about the other person, the other person's audience as well in every step. If you want these people to enjoy working with you and you want things to benefit everybody, or what was the point? They're gonna regret it, yeah. And then collaboration etiquette. So I meant to write this down. I did write some down, but it's been, you know, nobody's perfect. Collaboration etiquette is so important, y'all. So important, so important, so important. Be polite, of course. Be respectful of people's time. Oh my gosh, y'all. Be respectful of people's time. If remember, remember when you scheduled this. Show up. If something happens and you can't make it when you said you would, let them know as soon as you possibly can. And do not overbook yourself, because if you overbook yourself, then you're going to lose track and you're going to get lost and you're going to forget. And I've definitely overbooked myself. I only recently stopped overbooking myself. And it's a learning curve for sure. But don't give up and just keep pushing through, and just know that it'll get better. If you feel overwhelmed because you overbooked yourself, be like, well, crap, and push through, because I believe in doing, saying, being, showing up when and where you said you were going to. If you said you're going to do this and then it comes down to it and you accidentally scheduled 4 calls in that day, I mean, don't kill yourself trying to get to them all. Don't be afraid to reschedule if you have to, but try to honor your words and everything. Because I'll tell you, you have about the first time you want to reschedule with me, sure, that's fine, not a big deal. If you reschedule with me a second time after that, I'm still going to say okay. Like, I'm probably never going to say no about rescheduling, but my faith in you starts to wane after the second reschedule. And if you reschedule with me a third time, I have zero faith in you and your abilities, and I will probably never go into another collaboration with you. I will not recommend you to other people. It's just kind of that, are they going to show up? Can you trust these people? That kind of thing. And I give you the benefit of the doubt the first time for sure. The second time, I'm like, I mean, okay, I'll give you this benefit of the doubt the second time too. But the third time, that's it. And I'm sorry. Sorry. Uh, but I hold myself to the exact same standards. I never ever reschedule unless I have no other choice. Um, and like I've totally accidentally scheduled calls on holidays to where, we were at a holiday party and I had to leave early because I had a call. And I would go home for an hour and a half, 2 hours, do the call, and then go back. Is that inconvenient as crap? Man, yeah, but I made this commitment, so therefore I'm going to show up to the commitment, regardless to whether it's inconvenient or I don't want to or whatever, whatever. Um, so just be super mindful of people's time, especially their time. Okay. Um, and that being said, if you want to pre-qualify people, that is great. If you want to send them like a quick answer these questions to make sure that we're a good fit and all of that, then absolutely do that. But be mindful of how much you send them. I have collaborated with people that sent me 5 pages worth of forms to fill out that were not like, insert your bio, your headshot, your socials, which is the basics of what you do want, but like in-depth questions where I'm writing a paper and like I've had people send me so many forms for a pre-qualified collaboration that it took me 2 hours to fill them all out. That is absolutely not being mindful and appreciative of other people's time. Okay, I still did it, but I hated doing it. I ended up um, not looking forward to, dreading, that's the word, dreading the call leading up to it. I didn't enjoy talking to them. I went into it with this mindset of I'm not going to like these people because they were so unappreciated. They've already wasted so much of my time over this. And make it easy for people, okay? My favorite collaborations are the ones that are like, hey, you want to collaborate? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, all right, let's do it this time, this day. And I'm like, all right, we'll be there. Ta-da, that's it. And I mean, that's really bare bones. Of course, you can talk a little bit more about what you're going to talk about and stuff, but make sure y'all both know you're on the same page and stuff. But 5 pages worth of stuff is not necessary. Um, Another thing that drives me crazy, and this may be a personal preference thing, I don't know. I haven't seen anybody else really complain about it, but if you invite someone on your collaboration for like a interview or a podcast or whatever, if you want to interview somebody, don't make them come up with the questions to for you to interview them with. Like so many times I've gotten on these I've done these collaborations with people where they sent me these forms, and in the forms it's like, what are 3 to 5 questions I can ask you during our interview? You're the interviewer. This is your blog, your YouTube channel, your podcast, your whatever. If you need to sit down and come up with a whole sheet of questions that you regularly ask people, then do that. You can keep them generic if you want so that they encompass anybody. What was your best aha moment kind of things? What is your best advice kind of things? Or you can take the time to look at who they are, what they do, and you can get in there and ask, what was the most interesting thing that ever happened to you in this area? What is the most impactful moment that you had? There's lots of ways to go about this, but if you're asking your interviewee to come up with their own questions for the interview, it puts your interviewee in a weird place to where they're like, I have a million different things, I don't even know where to start with that. If you want to think, if you're interviewing people and think of embodying the type of interviewer you want to be, do CNN reporters, and that's a terrible example, but do reporters go up to their interviewee and be like, hey, tell me what questions to ask you? No, no, they don't do that. They know what questions they want to ask ahead of time, and they come up to the person and ask the specific questions. Okay, that only makes sense. That only makes sense, y'all. And like I said in the beginning, I may be alone here. Okay, you may love coming up with your own questions to be interviewed. I don't know. It's just odd to me. But anyway, so moving on. Know that your collaborators are partners in what you're trying to do. Okay. They are not your audience. They are not your clients. They are not your potential clients. Okay. Another thing that drives me absolutely crazy is when I go into a collaboration with someone and they spend the whole time trying to pitch me on their products, their service, whatever they have to offer, when I thought I was under the understanding that we were coming in here to do a collaboration to create something of value for our audience and our potential clients and all of the people who are looking to us for information. It's really, it really takes the person aback when they get on here and suddenly you're trying to pitch them and sell them your stuff. Like, this is not an opportunity for you to pitch. Okay, this is a mutual business agreement. And yeah, that's icky, y'all. That's icky. Um, if you do a good job presenting what you have to offer and the benefits that you have to it, and that your stuff and everything, if your collaborator is sitting there with you, listening to you tell the audience all of the stuff that you're doing and your expertise and bringing value and stuff, and if in their head they're like, man, I could really benefit from this too, they'll let you know. Okay, they will let you know. You don't have to turn your attention away from the audience to your collaborator and try to pitch them. Don't do it. Don't do it. Know the difference between your partners and your audience and your potential clients. Okay. Another thing is, because someone chose to collaborate with you does not mean that you have permission to just put them on your email list. Okay. That's also icky. Don't do it. You can ask them permission if you want. You can be like, hey, I have a newsletter that goes out every so often about this right here. Would you be interested in me adding you to that? Or better yet, you can throw it out there and be like, hey, I have this right here. Here's how you sign up if you're interested. That way you don't put them in a position of having to tell you no, they're not interested to your face, because nobody wants to do that, right? Nobody wants to be put on the spot. So treat your partners and your collaborators exactly like you would want to be treated. You wouldn't want to go into, you know, when you're at a restaurant or a retail store or whatever, and they ask for your email, you want to be able to say no. Do you like it when they ask your email? I don't. I'm always like, no thanks, and they're like, okay, so it's not a big deal. But someone's email address is a very personal thing. They are inviting you into their realm, their world. It's a insider's ticket to get to them, and people don't want to be added to email list after email list after email list, especially if what you're sending them in the email doesn't apply directly towards them. Know the difference between your partners and collaborators and your audience and clients. They are two different areas. So that's the biggest things I have. If y'all have any questions about collaborating, pitches, you want to pitch them, okay? Know what you can bring to the table. Know what you have to offer their clients, their audience, them themselves. What do you have to offer, and know how to position yourself in a way that you want to give more than you take, okay? You want to give all of your information, but also in that, when I say give all of your information, tell them what you're trying to do, what your goal is, and what you can help with. You can give them a little bit of background if you want. Keep it under a paragraph. Cannot stress this enough. Keep it under a paragraph. They do not need a page length story of how you got to where you are and what you do. They do not need an additional 3 paragraphs on the backstory of your blog and how that came to be. I'm sure it's a cool story. Most of us have a super cool story with how we got started in online presence and all of that. But when you're pitching your collaborations to other people, know exactly what you want. So don't come in there with, hey, do you want to collaborate? Like, well, okay, yeah, what do you have in mind? Is exactly what they're going to say. Okay. Know what you want to collaborate in before you go in there. And that doesn't mean you have to choose one thing. You can choose 3 options. That's what I have. I have 3 options to collaborate with me. This, and this. If none of these fit, you're free to come up with something and pitch me. I say that as well. If you have an idea, if you don't like these ones, throw me something else and we'll see if that works. But if you come in there and you're like, hey, do you want to collaborate? And they're like, yeah, what do you have in mind? And then you turn around with, I don't know, what do you have in mind? You're giving them more work. And because now they have to come up with something, which is work, y'all. It's mental capacity that a lot of us don't have, especially when we're wearing all of these hats and trying to create all of this. We're the graphic designer, we're the writer, we're the editor, we're the photographer, we're all the things, video editor. Did I say that? I feel like I said that. Anyway, you don't want another thing to add to your to-do list. Well, now I have to remember this person, come up with something for us, create all the details. It's a job. All right. So come up with 3 things and be like, okay, just like when you're when you're trying to figure out something to eat with your partner, you're like, okay, here's 3 options. If you don't like any of that, ball's in your court. So that is completely acceptable, and they'll be like yes or no, and you can move on with your life. But one last thing that I can think of, unless y'all have questions. If you have questions, drop them, please, please, please. Keep a solid running details of who you're collaborating with. This is really hard for me. Probably mostly because I started out the first 4 months way overbooking myself. So I would have 2 to 3 podcasts a day. And so that, yeah, they run together. They run together, and at the end of it, you're just like, it gets to a point to where you don't even know where you're showing up or who you're talking to. You just know you have a time and a place to be. So you show up and you're like, okay, please lead me to where we're going. Because, like, it's bad. So don't overbook yourself once again. And if you're not overbooking yourself, then you can find the capacity to take really good notes on who all of these people are, because it's important that you're acknowledging that each one of these people have a whole network of systems behind them, and you need to keep up with their name, their email, their socials, at least one or two. Okay. And I say that, usually it's their website or their Instagram is what is good to keep up with. So you want their name, their email, a link of some sort to keep in touch with them, and what they do. Okay. Those are the most important things right there. You can, what are they called? CRMs? The CRM system? I have one over here somewhere that I don't use because it doesn't give me enough. There's no place for notes, and that bothers me. I think it's CRM. I get really mixed up with acronyms. But anyway, so you can get I think it's a CRM. I might be wrong, y'all. Sorry. System where it's essentially how you keep track of people. So, like a big contact list phone book type deal, and you go in there and you just fill in all the blanks. I've tried like three of them, and I've never found one that works like I want it to. So I just use a Google spreadsheet. And is that the most, it works for me. I don't know. I wish I could screen share with you, but at the same time, I don't know if these people want their information out here like that. But I have, for my Facebook Lives, we just started doing Facebook Lives in here, like bringing experts in. I have a Facebook Live spreadsheet of collaborators. We have, because it's always on a Thursday, so I have the dates of all the Thursdays for the next few months, and then I have their names next to the dates they chose, how I can contact them, and with this one, it's either Facebook Messenger or email. And then I have what they do, and then I have a link to get in touch with them. So, and like I've got some color coding on here to whether or not I have their links and bios yet, their headshots. But whatever works for you, whatever information that you're needing is perfect. And but just make sure you're keeping up and keeping track with everybody, and know how to get in touch with people, and contact them when you have questions. Because a lot of people, something that seems common sense that you would think is common sense. That's hey. Mommy. You gotta be quiet. I see them. When you're done collaborating with people, like you record an episode, whenever that episode goes live, send the person you collaborated with the link. Okay. It sounds like common sense, but half of my collaborations don't send me the link when it goes live. Okay. Half of them at least. And I have to track them down, which is another thing to think about. It's another mental capacity thing. You have to think, oh, I wonder if that's went live yet. It's been 2 months. They never reached back out to me to tell me that here's the link. So then you go looking for it. And then, so you got to make sure you have notes so you know how to get in touch with these people. Because trust me, I have had terrible notes in the past and couldn't find the people that I had a podcast with or whatever. And so I don't know if it went live or not, but always send your collaborators, your partners in the collaboration, links to the lives if you're making graphics to market and network, then make sure you're sending them that so that they can send it out to their people, so that you can get y'all's collaboration in front of their audience as well. Make sure you're doing all of these things. Okay, don't feel bad to reach out to them. They agreed to join in on this collaboration with you, which means they agreed to do some of the work as well. um to just be mindful of their time, and just put yourself in their shoes. What would you want to know? What would you want you to do? That kind of thing. But that's all I have today, which I think was long enough. We're almost hit an hour. But if you have any questions, please let me know. Please drop them in the comments, send me a message, an email, whatever you like, and I will put them in the blog post. I usually edit these videos on Wednesdays, and then the blog post will go live on Thursday. So let me know. Confidence to Content just launched, so if you're interested in some getting your voice and message out there to be heard, let me know, and we'll talk to you about details with that. And in the meantime, like, share. If you're not already in the Facebook group, get in there so that you can join in with us on these weekly lives. And I will talk to you soon.